Okay, this has been sent to me by the good Dr. Johnson. It's USA Today. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's long and want to just touch on it and get into my commentary. Biden poised to double the number of black women appeals court judges. With the Senate ramping up approval of his judicial nominees, President Joe Biden is poised to double the number of African American women serving on the nation's federal appeals courts during his first few months in office. While advocates for greater diversity say the share is still too small, Biden is on track to expand the number of black female appellate judges to 8 from 4, ensuring that at least one black woman is serving on more than half the nation's circuit courts. Biden's highest profile nominee, Ketanji Brown Jackson, was confirmed money to a seat on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. His first appellate judge was cleared by the Senate. 3 other black women are in the pipeline for federal appeals courts, and all 3 appear to be on course for confirmation. If those 3 are confirmed and none of the current judges retire, it would represent the largest number of black women serving on appeals courts in history. Black women bring a perspective to the bench that is sorely missing, said Leslie Davis, CEO of the National Association of Minority and Women-Owned Law Firms. It's an exciting time for the president to be thinking intentionally about the need for that voice. Advocates such as Davis say the milestone is significant for several reasons. The 4 African American women on the appeals bench at the start of 2021 made up 2% of 179 appellate judges. By comparison, black women make up 7% of the U.S. population. Biden, meanwhile, has promised to name a black woman to the Supreme Court for the first time in U.S. history if a seat opens up during his term. The pledge has renewed attention on the relatively small pool of potential candidates sitting in the nation's appellate bench, the place from which most nominees to the high court are picked. Many court observers believe Jackson, who made President Barack Obama's shortlist for the Supreme Court in 2016, will be a top contender. Biden would get his chance if Associate Justice Stephen Breyer, 82, decides to retire before the midterm elections. Jackson, 50, has served on the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia since 2013. The Senate confirmed her to the appeals court on a 53-44 vote. 3 Republicans joined all Democrats in supporting her. Senators Lindsey Graham of South Carolina and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine. As he read off the position she held in her career, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer praised Jackson, a graduate of Harvard Law School, as the perfect person for the job. She has all the qualities of a model jurist. She is brilliant, thoughtful, collaborative, and dedicated to applying the law impartially, Schumer said. For these qualities, she has earned the respect of both sides. Biden has nominated 18 federal judges, including 3 who had already been confirmed before Jackson, and the administration is juggling 83 current court vacancies and another 30 which are coming down the pike in short order. The White House has touted diversity, racial and professional, every time it has announced a new slate of judicial candidates. The doc sent this to me because of the emphasis on black women, and that's fine. But you notice when they talk about black and black women, they don't talk about black people anymore, especially black men. And while I don't have a problem with this because black women did help put Biden over the top, and to the victor go the spoils. And so at any election, if a president has some kind of fealty to his base and he rewards them, I had no issue with that because, hey, they don't want to put him in because if my guys put in a president, I'm going to want something back too. So that's the way it works. So I don't have any problem with black women getting elevated. But in my opinion, that also puts them in a hot seat because the reason that black women said they haven't done anything or did anything to correct the black community is because they never had any power. Okay, now they're accumulating power, but you don't hear talks of them bringing that power back to the black community and actually helping out black people, especially black men, who are the ones that are harassed by this judicial and police system. Recently, Dr. Johnson did a video about a black female judge giving a 16-year-old 241 years. Let that sink in. We're not talking about a white racist judge like Zimmerman, who just retired, that didn't like black people, especially black men. It's understandable. It'd have been a travesty if somebody like Zimmerman had given a 16-year-old black boy 241 years for anything, even if it was a white female, okay, which we expect less harsh penalties because of their liberal stance. If they had given a black boy 241 years, it'd have been a travesty. But a black woman gives a black boy 241 years in prison, and nobody blinks an eye. They say if you elevate the black woman, you elevate the rest of the community. And as black women have accumulated power over the past 10 years, I'm asking you, have you seen it? Because I haven't. I remember the sight of Botham Jean's killer, white female officer, that she killed a man in his apartment while he's eating ice cream, watching football. Chick put 3 shots in him. She only got 10 years. While, she's a female, white female, blue-eyed police officer with blonde hair. And I know how, even in Texas, they protect the white female. That wasn't the bad part. The bad part is when the judge came down off the bench and gave her a hug, like she was sorry she had to send this little white girl to prison for killing a black man. And the bailiff playing in her hair, comforting her as she's going to prison. But the same black judge would given a black man in the same position would have gave him the maximum they could give him. Just like that black female judge gave that boy 241 years. Is elevating black females necessarily helping the black community? We know they're going to help black girls, but are they going to help black men? Are they going to be the people that they say they are? Are they going to make a change for black boys and black men? Since they've been elevated, since they have power. Now, do you think if the situation was reversed and there had been a black female, 16-year-old girl that was a black female and had a black male judge, he would have given her 241 years? Or you think he would have showed her compassion? Now, I'm sure he's 16 and is going to go to the Supreme Court, and they'll probably get his sentence reduced. But I'm starting to wonder, because we see these black female judges sprinkled out throughout the whole country, and especially in Houston, there's 19 of them. Have you seen any difference in the way Houston goes about its laws, Houston goes about its courts? Have you seen any change? Do black women make a change when they get in positions of power, or do they side with the white power structure? I'm really curious. The thing is, now it's the time to actually start putting this theory to the test, because now they are gaining power. What if we do get a black female Supreme Court justice? What kind of opinions will come out of her? Hell, what kind of opinions are the ones that are already sitting on the federal appellate courts? I barely heard of any. There's 4 of them sitting there. They've been there since 2013, 8 years. Has anybody heard of them doing anything, saying anything, making any kind of case law, helping the black community? Those 19 judges in Houston, have you heard anything positive about what they're doing for the community? Like I said, I don't have any problem with black women getting power. There's mayors, there's judges. A couple of them have run for governor. You have them in the congressional seats. You have black women sitting in congressional seats. Have you heard any of them advocate for black boys and black men? Anything? Because it's awfully convenient that after Biden gets elected, they talk about black women. Well, after Barack Obama got elected, it was no more talk about the black community. It was talk about black women as a separate entity. And it's bad enough that they do it. It's even worse that black men let them get away with it. It's a community when they need to seek power and they seek to get an advantage. And once they get it, it all of a sudden becomes a black woman thing. There's so many wrongs that need to be righted in this country. And you need people in positions of power to do so. And we put our certain people in positions of power. And what do you get out of it? You got federal judges that did an injunction to hold up debt relief for black farmers. Have you heard any of the 4 black female federal judges, or any of the black federal judges, period, talk about that case? I'm just saying. The black women are the first ones to say that things are unfair, and if they get into office, they're going to make it a whole lot better because they're the most educated. They say they're the most capable of leading until they have to lead. It is what it is sometimes. But if they're going to be in power, I think that we should put pressure on them. They're going to be power to do something. Whether you do the wrong thing or you don't do anything, I think we should put pressure on the people that actually get nominated to these positions. And I think we should write them down and track these people to make sure that they serve our community. And I don't think it should be just for the women either. I think it should be for the men. Congressmen, judges should write all these names down and regularly check and see if they've made any impact. What are they there for? To get a job or to make an impact and make American life for black people better? Maybe they all of a sudden they get the neuralizers flashed in their face and they become colorblind. I beg to differ, and I think that what's going to happen is black people are going to have to keep these leaders, so-called, on a short leash. They're going to have to be called to the carpet, especially black women, because they rose so hard for Biden and they're getting the goodies. Because we don't need a BLM in upward positions of power where they're prejudiced against black men. But anyway, I know this is not the most exciting thing to say in the annals of BGS history, but I think it's something that needed to be said because Dr. Johnson did actually bring this up. What does it profit black women to be in positions of power if they're not going to help the whole community? And do we have a right to call them to the carpet if they're not functioning in a manner that we think is appropriate? Just saying. Anyway, with that, I'm going to jump over here. This is BGS out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.